Okay, take two. So the building generator here, same as the vehicle, kind of mostly based on paths. So there's a path, and then there's a geometry nodes that then generates stuff from that path. And what I have here in the base generator is, I like it, does this, in this generator it does this curved mesh with just a line kind of around this, and then it instantiates a bunch of these boxes, which is just an object set up here. To be spawned, and then it creates this kind of extra floor object here where it takes this path and then it pushes the path with each of these points normal, so it makes it larger kind of uniformly, and not just scaling it but actually pushing it with the normals. And that's it for the base generator. The base then uses a material that I have set up these in Inkscape, these textures, in a way that it exports each one of these cells into its own texture, and these are then used in Unity to kind of make the parts more dynamic. So I can just choose a bunch of these as options for building style to then create variations of these skyscrapers, and especially these bases. Like if I just change these into like arcs, or like kind of like an Islamic arc, they all look like a different scene. Then the same thing with the floors. It's another functionality here. It's another generator, the floor generator, which then has other setups for like choosing these elevators and stuff. It generates a bunch of like these column meshes and sets up the UV for it, and then I can do the UV multiplying here, make it look slightly different. And then there's the ceiling generator. There's two of these ceiling generators, one that creates this wall and these kind of chimneys and adds that object on top. And then since all of these three are like in this one collection commercial, I then have this other collection which has all the, like, there is just a link to a collection which then gathers all those meshes and makes one mesh out of it. So I can generate these kind of individual buildings. And then on top of these commercial ones, there's these residential ones, and there's this ceiling generator, which kind of has the same idea with the pushing of, it's like using this path. While it's a path, I'll capture the attributes of these normals on each point, so I can then, when I convert it to a mesh, I can then scale that top part in a way that it will work even on a like an L shape, so that these get evenly pushed inside with the functionality of like capturing the attributes while it's a path, and then doing the push with that captured normal. And then there's a UV function that uses this normal and actually the height value here to generate the UVs for these faces. And the top now is messed up. It should be like just the world X and Y when it's like straight up. When the normal is that way, it should be just like X and Y on the, and that's now wrong. That needs to be fixed. But like the harder part here, like these faces, is doing the right stuff. Like they're all facing like in that general direction, and they're kind of flowing from up to down. And so that's the other functionality here with the geometry nodes. And yeah, then these buildings will be used in the game, in the scenes, kind of filling empty spots in the scene around the track with these buildings. And that's done kind of automatically in the scripting. Explain that more in the next video.